This cast iron is old as hell and has seen better days. Let's restore it. This is a vintage cast iron that my dad got my mom from an antique shop, and then my mom passed down to me, and I have never used it because I'm afraid to ruin it. But now I am no longer afraid of cast iron. So I'm going to re-season this and teach you how. It's not that hard. I am going to start by scrubbing this with soap and water with one of these. This is a chainmail made specifically for cast iron. Wash it with soap and water. Don't worry, we're re-seasoning it. We're not ruining it. Once the cast iron is washed, dry it with a paper towel. This is the first drying cycle. We will dry it further. Preliminarily dried, head over to the stove. Onto my stove, cast iron with the heat on. You want this to dry out. Let it go for a few minutes until everything looks dry, like real dry. My cast iron is now dry. Turn off the heat and let it cool right here on the burner because I need to be able to handle it for the next part. Also, at this time, turn on your oven to 450 degrees. Let it preheat. My cast iron is no longer hot to the touch, so I'm going to add a tablespoon or two of a neutral cooking oil. I am using avocado oil. You could use vegetable oil or like sunflower seed oil. I'm not sure. It needs a high smoke point. Take a paper towel and buff this in. You want this to be a very thin layer. You do not want it to be greasy though. Rub it on all sides, including the handle. Everything needs to be coated so thin. Do you see how it's shiny? Perfect. Do you see how my hand is not dripping in grease after touching it? That's also perfect. Pop it in your oven at 450 degrees for an hour. Set a timer or else you're gonna forget. We are looking for that oil to polymerize on top of our cast iron so it is non-stick. If you do not let it get hot enough, it will not be non-stick enough. It'll get gross and sticky and nasty. We don't want that. It has been an hour. It is not done yet. We are going to turn off the oven. We are going to let it cool completely, and then we are going to repeat this process 2 or 3 times. I'll be back when it's completely done and shiny and all the things. My pan is now fully cooled, but as you can see, it's not super shiny. We are going to add another layer of avocado oil, buff it in, place it back in the oven, 450 degrees for an hour, and let it cool for about 15 minutes before we check on it. We'll be back when it's done. And now my cast iron that I was so afraid of is seasoned. Just like that. Follow along for more aggressive tutorials.